Hello.
Hi.
Welcome
Welcome to Oh My Gosh What?
with Jules.
And Ski.
And don't forget to like, share, and follow
Yeah.
on social media.
Yeah, she just jumped right in. She was like, hey, since I got you right now,
Since I remembered at the right time.
we need you to do this.
Yes.
Okay. So,
welcome.
hi, guys. Today's podcast is going to be quite a time because we are revisiting our past.
Yes, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. But before we get into that, we want to talk about what we did this last weekend because we just had so much go on.
Yeah, we had a lot of things that we did this weekend. Do you want to start?
Yeah.
Okay.
So last week, my daughter did a dance recital for her school. It was like all of the schools like that participate in this program. It's like an after school program. And she was one of the kids that got a scholarship.
Hey.
I know, so proud of her. And she's in 3rd grade. And I don't know. I heard that she was up for a scholarship, but I really thought they would give it to like someone older. So they saw a lot of potential in her. So they like to see her continue her dance journey, and very proud of her for that. And then on like 2 days later, we had a cheer banquet. And my older daughter, she got a scholarship for cheer.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
She got a scholarship for cheer, and then she won 2 awards from her peers. It was MVT, Most Valuable Teammate. And then it was like another one was like Never Gives Up Award. So she won 3 things. And of course, my youngest comes up to me. I knew I was so excited for my older daughter, but I knew that it was going to come with a consequence, which was my younger daughter being jealous. So she comes up to me and the moms during the banquet and she goes, I just want to let you know that I've been living with her for the past 8 years and everything that they said about her are lies. That's what she says to me. And I'm like,
she's so salty.
Yeah. And I go, you need to be nice to your sister.
Yeah.
She was really proud of you when you won your scholarship for dance. And she goes, that's different. And she goes, and they've been saying all these things about her and it's not true. She's the devil. And I was like,
She really went there.
She really went there in front of all these moms and they just looked at me like, oof. Have fun with that.
Right?
Yeah, the car ride was not fun. They screamed at each other the entire time.
No.
It was a whole thing.
It's like, why is she so upset? She just won a whole scholarship to herself.
I know. So, and I was like, hello, like I'm trying to save money here. So not really sure how this next season's gonna go. My oldest is like she's like in a weird age group, but also in a weird level. And so like I kind of just told them like, if you can't find a place for her, I really don't want her to go back a level.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. So we might just going the elite route with her. Other than the cheer stuff, just working.
Yeah.
How's
work going?
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm doing like some digital content creating stuff. And it's like really cool that they're like trusting in my visions. And I just feel very like this is exactly where I'm supposed to be right now in my life. And we'll just like see where this goes. I feel like this is like a very big stepping stone to like whatever like it guides me to. I feel like I have a huge purpose with my career. I just like don't know what that is yet. And I'm not sure, like I feel like I'm meeting the right people, but I feel like it's going to take me like just like that one person to really like just like skyrocket that.
Right. Yeah.
But I feel like I have met the right people. I feel like people see potential in me to kind of take me under their wing. Mm-hmm. So it's very cool to see that like you don't actually have to go like the college route for certain things. It's just like if you just like trust in yourself and you just like put the hard work in, you can definitely like make something of yourself. And that's kind of like what I feel like that's kind of like what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. I don't think that everybody is meant to like be in college or go to college to do something. Yeah. There's so many other things you can do outside of that.
Yeah.
And this is a good example of just honing in on something that you really love and doing it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think you found like your passion.
I think I have too. I feel like you see it in me too. You're like, oh my God. She's like,
you're killing it.
Yeah. Anyways, I know you just got back from a trip.
Yeah, we just went to Arizona for the weekend. It was my niece's graduation and she just turned 18.
Oh, cute.
5th. So we went out there to celebrate with her because we really just wanted to celebrate them.
Aw, your baby.
Yeah,
the little baby.
Yeah, she's Danny's niece, but I've known her since she was 5. So I feel like she's my niece too.
Well, she is your niece.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
We just went out there, and we also got to see Crime Junkies live.
Oh my God, amazing.
So it was so fun. It was really inspiring, especially because we're doing a podcast.
Yeah.
And that was one of the first podcasts I had like really gotten into, where I joined their Patreon and I got their merch and I obsess over them and I listen to them all the time. Mm-hmm. So it was really cool to watch them do their thing.
Yeah.
And how easily everything flowed, and just how like cool it was, the experience of it. I know it doesn't seem cool to people because it's not a concert or anything like that, but if you're a true like fan of them, then it was really cool.
Now, during the tour, are they actually recording an episode or no?
I don't know if this was like a live recording or if it was just more so of something that was just for
the fans.
The fans.
That's so cool.
But they did 15 cities, which is a lot, right?
Oh my God. What if we get like that?
I know, right?
Maybe one day.
Maybe we'll have to see. But it was just really cool.
Yeah.
But I have to tell this funny story.
Okay.
Which wasn't, I mean, it was funny at the time too. But so Danny got up to go to the bathroom, and he was coming back, and he stepped out of the way to let somebody pass, and he was right next to one of the garbage cans, and he went to walk, and he stepped in a rat trap.
Oh my God.
So he went to walk, and he's like, what the fuck is on my shoe? And he looked down, and it didn't have like a rat in it or anything, but it was this sticky adhesive.
Oh, I was going to ask you, which one was it?
It was the sticky adhesive. So he goes and he peels it off, and it's like string peeling off of his shoe.
That's like worse than stepping on gum.
So he takes like a brochure, and he's trying to like scrape it off of his shoe. And so he thinks he got it, and he like throws it away and goes to step, and his straight up shoe stayed on the floor. His foot came out of it. And he's like, what the fuck? And so he ended up like slapping a brochure on the bottom of it.
So ghetto, just fucking leave.
Yeah, and he like ripped the sides off of it just so he could like walk back down the stairs. And that happened right before the show started. So at the time, it was kind of like, what the fuck? Like, of course this shit happens right now. Like, this is the worst timing. But at the end of it, it was really funny.
That's really funny.
Yeah, we had to end up buying him a new pair of shoes.
Oh my gosh.
So.
Aww.
It was so funny, though. I mean, he was laughing. So.
I bet you he feels bad for, like, mice that get caught in that. They're like, dude, you're fucking stuck. Like, you're done. Like,
why do you have mouse traps out when you have an
that's
event
kind of gross.
On?
I feel like it actually really is. I think that they should have taken those away or hid them like under a seat or something.
Exactly. Like, put those away. And the people didn't know what to do. They were just like, oh, you stepped in a mouth. Because he told somebody that it happened. And they were like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Here's a brochure.
Like, no, y'all need to buy me a new pair of shoes at this point.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so we had to go to Target the next day. And
did they do that for you or no?
No, they didn't do anything. So, but anyway,
we need to hashtag crime junkie. We need to get this sent to them so they can like know about what happened at their tour.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's funny though.
I know it obviously it wasn't the podcast's fault, but it was just funny.
But they need to hear about this.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what happened with that.
That's crazy. Yeah. Well, why don't we go ahead and dive into this episode?
Yes, let's do it.
So this episode is our 20s versus our 30s.
Yay.
And we're just going to like dive into how things are just different between the two ages. We're going to play a little bit of games of like, is this something that you've done in your 20s? How are things a little bit different? So we just thought like we would like to just dive into that.
Yeah.
It's just so funny. There's such a big difference between who you are in your 20s compared to who you are in your 30s. I mean, for both of us, I think we're just completely different people.
Yeah, I think you really think you know what you're doing in your 20s and you really think you have it together because you're out on your own and you're paying bills and you're doing all these things that adults do and you're considered an adult. And then when you get into your 30s, you're just like, oh, wow, I really didn't know at all what I was doing. And I'm sure it just keeps going. Like when I talk to people about them being in their 40s, they feel the same way. Like, oh my God, I'm so much more mature and different in my 40s and confident. Yeah. So we're going to just talk about our experience of being 20 somethings versus 30 somethings. And it's going to be funny and fun.
So this first segment of the podcast is going to be like a quick fire kind of thing. Maybe it won't be a quick fire. Maybe we'll end up talking. It's, it's our podcast. We can do whatever we want, right?
That's what we do.
But it's would 20s me do that? So I have the questions. I'm going to ask them to Jules. I'll also talk about some of them too. And we're going to see if would I do that in my 20s. Okay. So the first question is, stay out till 3 a.m. and work the next day.
Would you do that in your 20s or 30s?
It's just, would you do that in your 20s?
Oh, 20s for
sure. Fuck yeah, me too. I would stay up till the sun came up.
Oh yeah.
I would maybe not even sleep. Maybe I'd sleep for 2 hours and then go to work at 10 a.m.
Oh my gosh. I remember times where we would go to the club in our club era.
Yeah.
And we both worked at the mall.
Yeah.
And we would stay out till at least 2, 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'd be calculating in my head, okay, I got to wake up at 7 so I can be ready by 8:30 so I can go to work at 9. That was a very normal thing.
Yeah. And we were hairdresser. Well, she's still a hairdresser, but I was also a hairdresser during this time of my life. And yeah, I remember cutting people's hair. I mean,
I would 3 hours of sleep.
3 hours of sleep. I would have to just go. I would go to McDonald's, pick up a Coke. And that's how I started my day. And I was doing the whole cigarette smoking thing too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what we did.
Oh yeah. It was
that sounds like a nightmare now.
Oh my God. I can barely function if I don't get 8 hours of sleep.
To get me to even go out past 8 p.m., it has to be a big deal.
Yeah.
To get me to go out. If you say 4 p.m., sold.
I think also because we live in the city that we are in Vegas, we are very spoiled as far as things being open, especially because I just got back from Arizona and everything closes hella early there.
Yeah.
We just grew up in a city where everything's open all the time. We would go to, even as high schoolers, we would go to Walmart and walk around at midnight because why not?
Yeah.
It's open. Why not?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely what we did. We would start our days or our nights at 10 p.m.
Oh yeah, I think I would start getting ready at 10 p.m. and then I would meet up at around 11:30 p.m. and then we would meet up, we would figure out who's driving, we would pre-drink once we got to the parking garage, and we wouldn't hit up the club until at least midnight.
Yeah. We were wild.
We were really wild, but that sounds awful.
Now. Yeah, we weren't wild in the sense of we were doing a bunch of drugs or, getting, how there's that way. We were just wild in the sense that we were always out doing stuff.
Yeah, we were just very where can the ladies get in for free? That was where the club, because we were broke.
Yeah.
And we were okay, where can we get in where the ladies get free? And then also we used to play a game of who can get free drinks from guys.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm not paying for it. I'm broke.
Yeah.
I would just use my spending money was based off of the tips I made as a hairdresser.
Mm-hmm.
My paychecks were just my paychecks, but I would that's how I knew I was gonna have a good night. I'm cool, I made $100 today. I'm going out.
I'm gonna spend my $100.
This. Yeah. But hopefully I don't have to, so some guy can buy me drinks.
Yeah.
Which actually leads into my next question, kind of, is would you go on a trip with only $100 in your bank account?
1,000% yes in my 20s.
Yeah.
And 1,000% no in my 30s.
Same.
$100 is nothing.
You know what's crazy is when I was in my 20s, I think when I was actually 20 years old, I remember I had $1,000 in my bank account. I remember I thought, I'm so rich. I was I'm literally rich. That's nothing now.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking I got $1,000. If I can get this up to 3,000, I think I can get my first apartment. I remember thinking that. I was I'm going to get this up to 3,000 and I remember I started shopping for house stuff.
Oh my God.
I was buying plates and stuff. I was preparing myself to get my first apartment.
Wow.
Because I really thought I'm so rich, but I had no idea. I used to carry a checkbook with me too.
Oh my God. That's so funny.
Yeah. I was I'm going to make this work.
Yeah.
$1,000 is nothing. If I had $1,000 in my bank account now, I would be panicking.
What am I going to do? It's just so different now.
It really is.
And the cost of living is a lot more now than it was in our 20s. So
yeah.
That's different too.
Yeah. Okay. So this next one is getting bangs after a breakup. Yes, for me. Because I had done that.
You did that. I never did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
I
I
have
just
bangs now.
You
so.
do. I knew you were gonna say that. I think I just every time I'd have a breakup, I just like needed a change. It was either get bangs or I'd go on like an extreme diet to be like, fuck him, I'm gonna be really skinny.
Yeah. I definitely did that. Like,
yeah.
Okay, well, I'm gonna be in my like skinny girl, like pretty girl era.
Yeah, you're gonna miss you're gonna miss this.
Yeah, you're gonna look at me and be like, "Damn, I missed out."
Yeah, but instead it was like barely eating. I think I would eat like I would do like the Subway thing where it's like I'll just get a foot long and that's like my meal for the whole day. I'm like, well, if he can do that, the Subway guy can do it.
Can do it.
I can do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
It was poor decisions, and I was just like, I had to burn like it was like very mentally. I was mentally unstable, I think.
Well, I think doing hair, I would watch people go through their breakup. I need to change my hair phases. Even now, I watch people do that, and I'm like, I am always saying, okay, you have to really think about this because I'm not going to give you something super extreme.
Yeah.
And then you regret it and hate me later because we're not doing that.
Yeah. So. Sometimes I still think about getting bangs. So I'm like, should I get bangs? And I'm like, no,
do it.
Because like I get Botox and then I'm like,
you're fine.
No, like if I get Botox, you won't see the effects.
Yeah. So just keep your forehead open.
It's fine.
Keep it clear.
Okay. So the next question is eating Roberto's with no regrets.
In the 20s?
In your 20s.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, I always did. I was always at Roberto's.
So I've never really like loved Roberto's. I would get Roberto's the like burritos in the morning, but I've always been kind of meh about Roberto's.
Okay, well, let's say like Taco Bell.
And I was thinking in terms of that. Yeah. Like, okay, yeah, I can eat whatever I want, but nowadays I'm like, that's gonna give me heartburn.
Yeah.
That's gonna make my stomach
hurt. 100%. Yeah. I think a lot of us now are like our bodies aren't young anymore, and we're starting to realize like what our bodies can handle and what they can't. Like I cannot eat fast food.
Yeah.
Like it kind of grosses me out because it just like my body doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Or it's like I have to go to the bathroom or there's heartburn or whatever. So I'd almost rather just be like, you know what, even though this healthy meal is boring, at least I'm gonna feel okay.
Yeah, at least you know you're not gonna feel like shit later.
Even like pizza. Like I love pizza, but sometimes depending on the red sauce, I could have heartburn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I used to say that in my 20s, I used to say that pizza was my favorite food, that if I was stranded on an island, I could eat pizza for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And now the idea of that is not there anymore.
Yeah.
I cannot do it. It's just funny how like your body changes, like you said, and how you just can't handle certain things.
Oh my God, I cannot eat, like I love to eat rice, but like I get heartburn from rice too.
Weird.
Isn't that super weird?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Me and rice are not friends.
If I do eat fast food, I'm more selective about the type of fast food that I eat. Like certain like chains of things I won't eat.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but what's the next one?
The next one is going to therapy in your 20s. Would you go? I would not go.
I don't know if I would have gone if I would have known that was a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
I think
I still have a hard time going now. Like I just scheduled my first like consult for therapy. Yeah.
Nice.
For Wednesday.
Yeah. So. Well, I look back and I'm like, I think I definitely needed therapy in my 20s, but I was so stubborn that I'd be like, no, I'm fine.
I can work through it.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Next one is he's just a vibe or a liability. So question 1 is, would 20s you date someone without a bed frame?
I have that written down.
Do you have that one too?
Yeah.
Okay, so should I go?
20-something me has definitely dated or like just hung out with guys who didn't have a bed frame.
Same.
Or had their like mattress on the floor.
Same.
Yep.
I would not do that now though. Like if I was single and I went into a guy's room who's also in his 30s or 40s, I would be like, ew. Like, ew, you need a fucking bed frame. Or at least like get your bed off of the ground.
Like at least have some like springs underneath it or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like anything.
I mean, I was only really like with like 2 or 3 guys in my 20s, and like besides Kyle had a bed frame.
Oh.
Kyle had a bed frame, but the other ones didn't.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think Danny had a bed frame. I can't remember 100%.
Find you a man with a bed frame. That's ladies that are single. In your 20s,
Find you a man.
Find you a man with a bed frame.
He's really doing it in life.
That's like a game changer.
Yeah, the bed frame.
Yeah.
And we just sleep so much better with the bed frame.
You do.
So.
Yeah. Oh, but you know what though? I just had a flashback when me and Kyle first got married. Our mattress was on the floor. Well, we didn't have, but you know, we were broke. We were just got married. Like we had to like find an apartment. Like, you know, it's expensive. Mm-hmm. You know, you got to have a security deposit. You have to pay all these fees to get like all these utilities turned on.
Oh yeah.
You know, we didn't have time. Instances. We didn't have time for a bed frame.
No,
but we got a bed frame.
At least you cared about a bed frame. There's a difference between being like, oh yeah, I don't need a bed frame, and being like, I can't afford one, but I'm gonna get one when I can.
We had these like ghetto bed risers, like is like level 2. Like we had these ghetto bed risers that you like put on the bottom, so it just like elevated it. It was so ghetto, but you know, it is what it is. It's what you do when you're in your 20s, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what's your question?
He lives with a roommate and he's 37. Would you do that in your 20s or 30s?
Okay, in my 20s, yeah, I'd be fine with that. I'd be like, cool. He like has her roommate. Like he lives on his own. Like that's how I would think.
Yeah.
30-year-old me would be like, well, okay. It would depend. Like where they're living, I guess. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess part of me would think like, well, you know, like rent is really expensive right now. And like it is what it is. So I get that. But I think also it just depends on where you live, I guess. Like if it was like a nice area, nice apartment, like your rent is really stupid expensive and you're like, I want to live here, but I have a roommate, like we barely see each other, I think I'd be fine.
Yeah.
But it just, I don't know. I think it all depends. But 20-year-old me would just be happy that he has his own place.
Yeah. 20-year-old me would not bat an eye at somebody having a roommate. I remember one time I was talking to this guy and he had 5 roommates.
Okay, so that's like too much,
yeah,
I think.
And I was like, it's cool.
But did they have parties all the time?
I don't know. I have no idea.
So that's kind of like my husband. Like he had all these roommates, but you know.
But in your 20s, you were totally fine with it. But in your 30s, I feel like you kind of have to think, okay, what are the circumstances?
Exactly.
Like you said, where are they living? Do they both have jobs?
Which bedroom do they have? Does he have the master bedroom or does he have like the small one? Like that would actually make a big difference. I want my man to have the master bedroom because I want our own bathroom.
But yeah, life is expensive right now. So I wouldn't, if I was single and somebody had a roommate, I wouldn't necessarily mind that much. It would just depend on the circumstance.
You know what I would judge though? Like now is his closet. I would be like, how organized is his closet? If it's a mess, then no thank you, bye. Yeah. That would be me.
Or like if his room is a mess.
Yeah, okay. If I walked into his room in my 20s and his bed wasn't made, I'd be like, whatever, right? But if I walked into his room now and his bed wasn't made, I'd be like, you knew I was coming over and you couldn't even make the bed. You're a fucking slob. I don't know, the red flags. That would be my red flag. A bed. Like, you have to make your bed.
Yeah, make your bed. But not everybody does. So.
No.
Yeah. This is if you're single. Okay.
Okay.
He texts you up at 1 a.m. after 3 days of silence. Would you do that in your 20s or 30s?
Oh, I'd love it in my 20s. I would be like, oh my God, he likes me. I would know it was a booty call. Like, I would 100% know. But I would love it.
Yeah, because you'd think, oh, he's thinking about me.
Yeah.
I would think that too.
Me now would be so annoyed that he sent me a text at 1 a.m. I'd be like, what are you doing? We should be sleeping.
Well, I wouldn't even see it.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't see it. Neither would I. But I would be like, why aren't you sleeping? And also, this is a booty call and I'm looking for something more mature and serious. Yeah. No, thank you.
Don't ghost me for 3 days and then be like, hey, WYD.
Yeah, I think it's
I would do that in my 20s though.
Oh, hell yeah, me too. Yeah. I'd be like, oh my God.
He's thinking about me.
Yeah, and I would probably go over there.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, I'll be right over there.
Yep. So dumb.
So dumb. Did you ignore red flags in your 20s? That would be automatic no's now.
Yes.
Yeah, same.
Of course. For sure.
Yeah, I think we actually talked about this on past episodes as well. But yeah, there's like so many things that looking back, I'm like, I would never put up with that now. And yeah, I'm just such a different person. If I had to start dating now, There would definitely be boundaries. I would need space as well. I think that space is very sacred to me. So like, I don't want to hang out with you all the time. And I don't, you do you, I'll do me, I'll see you later. But also like, I think that a big red flag for me would be like anger issues. I dated guys in the past that had anger issues. And like, I think that's a huge red flag for me. Like looking back, I'm like, I should have seen that like if from the beginning, if you have anger issues, like this is probably not going to go well. But like how you control your anger would be a big thing. And if I saw that from the beginning now, I would be like, I'm like not for this. And it's different too, because like we have children. So like you have to think about like,
are you really down for all of that if they're going to be around your kids?
Exactly.
And you don't want them showing that as an example of how 100%. To treat somebody. I think a red flag for me would be insecurity. Like, because I have dated people in the past who've been insecure about themselves or not confident in themselves. And me trying to be the person to be like, oh, no, you're great. It's okay. You're amazing. Like, if I was single, the insecurity of somebody, not saying that I need somebody to be like, oh, yeah, I'm hot shit. But somebody to just be like, I know what I bring to the table. Not being like, oh, I don't know. Like, I don't know who I am. I'm sad because I don't know anything. No. You got to be secure in some way.
I like that too.
He has a passion project, but no job.
Okay, in my 20s, I'd be like, that's fine. He's going to get a job eventually. I'll support him.
He's an entrepreneur.
I'm pretty sure like most of the time I was the one that always had a car anyways and a job. Most of my boyfriends didn't have a car and no job. Like I've already lived this life. They were like, I'm going to be in a band. And I'm like, oh my God, so hot. Me now? Bye. Like, good luck on that.
You need to have a job. You have to have a job. Income.
Like I need to know that you have a steady income and that you also have health insurance. Like I need to make sure you have that. And also like, what's your FICO score? You know what I mean?
Like if you're under a certain point, that shows me that you don't give a shit.
You're not responsible.
And you're not being responsible because it's really not that hard to have a good score.
I think I would be really hard to date now. I think I have like very high expectations of like when I married Kyle, he didn't have like he never had a credit card, nothing. So when we got our first car together, it like brought my points down.
Oh, because he didn't have anything.
Yeah. I was like,
what the hell, man?
I actually was turned off by him that day. I was like, ew, you don't have anything. You're 25 years old. What's wrong with you? So know who you marry, guys. Make sure that his credit's up, his credit score's up.
And don't like marry somebody that has a bunch of debt because, you know,
that's your debt too.
Don't be doing that.
Don't be doing that.
This one kind of goes into the whole car situation. He drives a really nice car, but he lives with his parents. Like,
okay.
What?
20-year-old me would not care at all.
Oh yeah.
I'd be like, oh my God, so hot. He has his own car. Even like I have been in situations like that. And I mean, I even like went to the parents' house and spent the night, you know, stuff like it was fine. But me now, no.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I'm like, you got this nice car. I know that the payments are probably really high. Why can't you just get a place on your own?
Right. And even though now, like we said, to live is more expensive. So it's one thing if you have to like be at home to save money because life is expensive and maybe you're just trying to save. But if you have enough money to have an expensive car, then you have enough money to have a house. Like if you're more worried about your car than you are about a place to stay, then your priorities are a little jacked.
Oh yeah. It just shows me that you exactly what you said. I actually look for things like that. Like if you have a brand new car, because I know your car payments are probably really high. If you have like a brand new phone, if you have like the newest of anything, but you're living at home with your parents, it's showing me that you're not responsible with your finances. I would rather date a guy that has like a junky car that's paid off.
Yes.
And living with his parents because he's like, hey, like my goal is like, I want to buy a home and, you know, I don't have to worry about any of this. All I have to do is pay insurance, like whatever it is. Like, I think that is more attractive than like the other way around.
Right.
I don't care about the flashy stuff. I care about responsibilities.
Same thing. I could care less about somebody's flashy car.
Yeah.
Especially, or another one, if you have a nice car, but you don't have any retirement.
Yes.
Like, it's one thing if you don't have retirement because you simply can't afford it because living's expensive, or you have a little bit of retirement. But if you are paying a lot of money a month for something, then, but you're not having a retirement, like, what the hell are you doing? Or if you have a really expensive apartment, like you're paying extra for a fancy apartment, but you don't have a retirement, like, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, and you know what's funny is like something that I think is like a big thing. Like, I would say it could be in your 20s and your 30s, but I think it's more tied to like when you have kids, because you have to think about them, is life insurance.
Oh, I was just thinking about that.
You have to, like, if I met someone, it doesn't matter which one of those, but you had a child and you don't have life insurance, I would be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, and if you can financially, like, you know, just put in a whatever it is. Like, I mean, they can be as low as like $30 a month or whatever. I mean, I pay a lot for mine, but it's like, come on, man, make sure that the kids are going to be okay.
Yeah.
Or whoever, your spouse or whatever
Somebody,
it is.
Anybody.
I feel like that is a big thing too, is life insurance. And that's something that a lot of people, I think, don't talk about, but you need to make sure like anything can happen. So let's make sure like everything's good so that no one has to stress out about money for a while.
So
that's a big thing too.
1,000%.
But I feel like in your 20s, all you really want is just kind of like butterflies. You just care about like the feelings you get. And then in your 30s, it's more about, like we said, like security, your job, health insurance, things like that. Like those are things we're looking for, like more in someone. But it's just so funny because it reminds me of a time where right before I met my husband, I remember I went to a club and I was out with like some hairdresser friends. Pretty sure that my friend that was the hairdresser, like her client was an escort. So we were like hanging out with a certain crowd of people. And anyways, we were like in this VIP section, and like, you know, at the clubs, they had those camera people. Remember the people that just like snap your pictures and then like the next day you could like find you?
Oh yeah.
Remember
I used to love that.
Yeah, me too. Well, I ended up talking to the guy that was doing that, like getting schmoozy with him. And I ended up like making out with him like that whole night we were at the club.
That's so funny.
And I remember thinking like, oh my God, I can't believe I made out with the camera guy at the club. And I thought it was so cool. Now, I'm like, ew. Like if a 20-something, like if that was, I know it's not, I don't think that they do those. Maybe they still do. I don't know. I haven't been in a club in forever. But if my friends were like, oh my God, I made out with the camera guy, I'm like, ew.
Like, why?